like I say, when you shatter norms, they get shattered. And I don't think that we have ever seen in this country protests of this size against a president-elect for being a president-elect. And I count me in as being supportive. There is no reason for people not to come out and peacefully protest and send a message to the country that we're not going to tolerate basically the vehicle that brought this guy into the presidency. And even if you believe, and I think there's definitely an argument, that part of his appeal was an economic populism, and undoubtedly there was some of that. And the question is, how many voters were really driven by that, as opposed to against Hillary Clinton as a person, against a Democrat, and then, motivated by all the PC stuff that the guy from Reason Magazine wrote about, which in my mind is really just sort of the last vestiges of racism and misogyny. And let me just say this too. If you don't think, like I say, I think it's quite possible that there were tens of thousands of votes out there. And because I don't think anybody's making the argument that we're talking about millions of votes. I mean, he underperformed Mitt Romney. And when we talk about these counties in Wisconsin or Ohio or in Michigan or in Pennsylvania, we're not talking millions. We're talking at the most tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 of those type of hidden white voters, or voters who voted for Obama but voted for Trump this time around. Let me tell you what Wayne LaPierre said back in 2015.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay? No, because you see these things thrown around. They may be evidence of people responding to a populist message, or they may be responding to Wayne LaPierre, his characterization. There's no telling how far Obama will go to reshape America. And when he's finished, he intends to go with the coronation of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yeah, I have to tell you, 8 years of one demographically symbolic president is enough. This is what I have been saying in terms of what has motivated white males to perceive Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama as the same. It's not just racism, and it's not just misogyny. It is emanating from that guy that when I look at the president, I was willing to vote for Barack Obama, maybe, because it's time they have a shot at it. But you mean I got to wait 2 presidents? They got to have 2 people in line? No, this is like every other lane. This is the way you merge into traffic, every other car. And really it should be, maybe 3 of us, 1 of them. 3 of us, 1 of them. There's a perception that I'm not going to allow, or I'm not going to vote for someone who doesn't look like me to be president twice in a row. I mean, we gave you that. We gave it to you. 8 years of one demographically symbolic president is enough, is the attitude. So here are these protests nationwide basically saying, you know what? As far as you're having a problem with demographically symbolic presidents, go F yourself.
Upset about Donald Trump's victory are taking to the streets Wednesday night, protesting his presidential win. You can see what looks like hundreds of people outside Trump Tower in Chicago. Meantime, in Washington, D.C., crowds are gathering again outside a Trump hotel. And a few protesters got somewhat violent with staff as they tried to push back a barricade. There you see that. Here's a look at Philadelphia, where protesters gathered at Thomas Paine Plaza earlier this evening and began marching down Broad Street. Here's the scene in New York City.
I mean, there were thousands in New York. I saw something from UVA, which I think I don't know if it was coming off of a college campus, University of Virginia or what, but they were basically saying F Trump, F Trump. And references to the KKK and racism. So this was going on all around the country: Boston, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, Washington, like I say, college campuses, Massachusetts and California and Pennsylvania. This is pretty unprecedented. And look, having been in protest during the Bush administration against the war with hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, and seeing that it did not have any impact, I have a bit of a jaded perspective on this in terms of its efficacy in making change. But I do think that it is healthy in terms of making the establishment understand that there's a lot of anger out there. And it seems to be resonating a little more. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.